morning, ladies and gentlemen. India has made substantial progress in the delivery of services under the e-government's initiative. The public at large and the industry is not well aware of the numerous initiatives taken by the government, achievement made so far, and the future plans. On the objective of this, one of the objective of this conclave by the chamber is to bridge this information gap. I am glad what we have senior government officials from the Government of India to disseminate this message, success stories, various initiatives, and the future plans to our audience. There are 14 mission mode projects which are now delivering the full range of services, and another 9 mission mode projects are delivering services partly. In order to measure and monitor the outcome among the e-governance initiative, there is a separate portal Government of India under the Ministry of IT has put in called e-TAL, which collects the information from all the portal which have been hosted by either the state government or by the central government, and collect the delivery of e-governance transactions and put it online. And I have recently visited to MIT and I have seen there are big screen they have put in, so all the transactions they capture online and put it, how many e-governance transactions have been delivered. Very wonderful. Mobile Seva is another mission mode project which is very good because internet penetration is there in India but is still not that high as we see the mobile. The mobile, if we see, there are about 800 mobile which are already in existence. There are 800 million users using the mobile. And reaching to the citizens through mobile and developing the mobile application is one very good initiative by the Government of India under MIT. And there are already about 444 departments across the country offering over 200 unique services to the citizens. A mobile app store has also been launched with 153 live applications for citizens to download and use for the various purposes. Government has a plan to connect 250,000 villages. Out of 10,000 of them will be connected by this year end through a optic cable fiber network. Government has a plan to offer telemedicine, teleeducation, skill development courses, and banking services through this network. E-procurement is another initiative. We all know that how the e-procurement is going into the departments, whether the state departments or the central department. The lack of information which is available to the vendor sometimes lead to some kind of problem, and the vendor is not able to articulate that how they have to do the bidding and other things. So this is one very good initiative by the Government of India under MIT. The e-procurement is promoted in a big way, leading greater transparency, efficiency, and control, of course. To optimize utilization of IT infrastructure and enable the rapid deployment, replication of e-governance services, government is planning to set up own Government of India cloud called Meghraj. This is very important point. The e-governance in India started about 9 years back. They have started planning, and the first initiative they had it to build the infrastructure, the SWAN statewide network, and the data center, and then the application and database. So now this is the second big change which is going to come in the e-governance, where they are going to augment the entire infrastructure they have, and they are going to virtualize and use the infrastructure in the optimal way. 2 expert committee for the preparation of HR policy for e-governance headed by Shri Nandan Nilekani and expert group of NGP chaired by Dr. Sam Pitroda were constituted and functioning, providing recommendations. Government now intend to formulate next version of national e-governance plan to incorporate the latest technological advancement, as I said, the cloud computing and etc. Having said this, let us not live with our laurels because India has a long way to go. We need to do more than what we have already done. It is a matter of great concern that India ranks a poor 125 in United Nations e-government development database 2012. Even some of our South Asian neighbor countries like Maldives and Sri Lanka are ahead of us with rank of 95 and 115 respectively. It is to be noted that in 2010, Survey India ranked as 119 and in 2008 survey at 113. a clear indication that our e-government implementation has been slower than many other countries around the world. There are a large number of potential barriers in the implementation of e-governance, some hindrance in the path of implementation like security, unequal access to the computer technology by the citizen, high initial costs setting up the e-government solution, and resistance to change. Challenges identified are lack of trust, digital divide, privacy, and the security concern. We are sure that our government is well aware of these factors and attempting to address all these, but the speed need to be accelerated. I am sure our eminent speakers are going to throw more light on this subject. The role and the participation of private sector in the governments need to further enhance, as we in the chamber are of the opinion that there is much more potential with the Indian enterprise that what being utilized by the government right now in the e-government's implementation space. Talking about IT enterprise in India, I will take this opportunity to draw the attention of our leadership from the government about the few issues. One of the big challenge faced by the Indian IT company is the lack of adequate financing by the banks and other financial institutions. The banking industry in India never seemed to have understood the nuisance of the IT industry and the soft power of knowledge-based asset and the innovation clearly. In spite of clear RBI guidelines, the bank in India continue to insist on brick and mortar infrastructure and machinery only as assets. Banks are not truthfully supporting the intellectual capital of IT companies, thus blocking the inclusive growth and the growth of India. The Commerce Ministry, on the other hand, has even withdrawn the custom duty credit concession earlier available to the IT service industry as a part of Service from India scheme, which is not certainly providing the right kind of encouragement to IT companies exporting their services outside India. Special economic zones set up by both states and private enterprises have never reached to their full potential or capacity utilization under, once again, due to inadequate incentive and the concession. Last but not the least, PSG Chamber have not been duly represented in the several consultative forums set up by the government in the area of IT, cyber security, even though we have been working in this sector, in this space from long now. We in the chamber have already submitted our representation. We have submitted our representation to the Secretary of IT Ministry to this subject, and I will take this opportunity to request senior leadership from the government to look into this matter. We in chamber believe that India has a great potential to be the leader in the emerging world, notwithstanding the temporary disruption like we have slow economy and the currency fluctuation. We believe that we can bounce back an efficient and effective delivery of the services to the citizen of the world's largest democracy through e-governance and m-governance can go a long way ahead. I am sure the experts are going to deliberate this in the forthcoming technical session. The leadership of this country is going to share with our audience their vision, which will set the right tone of this conclave.